You're listening to the real FPL Bros. Yeah, the real FPL Bros, not some other FPL Bros. Just in case you were wondering.
Look, we're British, right? We know what we're talking about. We know the Premier League. We don't call it soccer.
Yeah, that is one of many reasons to stay tuned into this channel.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening into FPL Bros, episode 78, and this is your boy Coach. And tonight I'm joined by Derek. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm not bad at all. How about you?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's been an interesting couple of days, European fixtures and all the rest of it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it affects this weekend's action. Before we get going, if you are listening on YouTube, I need you to click like and click subscribe if you haven't done already, and do it now. Don't delay. Do it. Done. Good. All right then. Let's get down to it.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
So, first things first, a quick review of our Game Weeks 13. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't mind going first. It was a bit of a tricky week. I thought I was going to get more points than I ended up getting, which was quite disappointing. So I ended up with 45 points. I know it was a bit of a surprising game week. Liverpool lost. Surprise. United and Chelsea was a draw, which wasn't too much of a surprise, actually. I thought that would be a draw. And then Arsenal drew to Southampton, which is another surprise for me. And then the biggest surprise was Newcastle beating Spurs. Actually, no, the biggest surprise was Forest beating Liverpool. The second biggest surprise was Newcastle beating Spurs. So, yeah, it wasn't a great week overall.
Yeah. No, okay. I actually got 54 points. It was 58, but I took a -4 again. And I have to admit that, yes, Liverpool versus Forest was a massive surprise, definitely. But what people shouldn't forget is that Liverpool had a lot of chances in that game, and quite a few of them falling to Van Dijk as well. But on another day, they go in. So I think that as long as teams are creating chances, they're still dangerous. Sometimes luck's against you and they don't go in. But the fact is, Forest allowed Liverpool a lot of attempts on their goal. And one of them goes in. It's a different game, totally. Yeah, I wasn't all that surprised about Southampton Arsenal because Southampton are a really inconsistent team. Sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're just terrible. But it's because, generally speaking, I think Hasenhüttl will get the best out of his team. But Southampton, they surprise people. And the Spurs Newcastle, I thought that game was going to be a draw. I have to admit. You know, some people might have thought that Spurs had it in the bag, but I thought not necessarily. Because again, Newcastle have been looking hot. Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
I said, really?
Yeah, because Newcastle have been looking hot. And again, even though Spurs have got a good manager and they've got good players, I've noticed that since Richarlison and Kulusevski got injured, they struggle a little bit because they don't really have anyone. Yeah. But anyway, I can say that because it's happened.
Yeah,
yeah. So Captain Hindsight there. All right then.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Before we get on to player picks, I've got a question for you. What do you think end of season top 4 and relegation is going to look like?
Oh, why do you have to throw that on me? Honestly.
Because I think it's interesting. I think everybody's answers has changed since the beginning of the season. I guarantee you we've all changed our minds.
Did you ask this question at the beginning of the season?
Well, no, but if I had, I could guarantee the answer.
I dread to think what I would have said. Top 4. All right. Yeah. So for me, I think it's going to be Arsenal and City. I don't see Newcastle getting to top 4, and Spurs, based on their recent form, I see them struggling. I think it's going to be between Chelsea and Liverpool. Now, Liverpool have played one game less than Newcastle and Spurs, who are in the top 4.
Yeah.
And they're on 16 points. So let's say Liverpool will win the next game against Leeds. They'll be on 19 points.
Yeah.
And they're only 2 points away from entering the top 4. So it just takes a Newcastle loss and a Liverpool win for them to go in. And that's assuming all the other teams obviously keep losing.
Yeah.
But I do think Liverpool have got a good shot. And I think Chelsea do look promising. I've got more faith in Chelsea securing top 4 than I do Newcastle securing top 4. I don't think Tottenham are going to be able to secure it because you're right. They do look like they're struggling. Even when they played the Europa League, they could only manage to draw against this basic team. So,
basic.
Yeah. So I do think Spurs are really going to struggle to keep it up and secure top 4. Whereas I think Liverpool, they're only getting better. They are struggling a bit with the injuries, but once they get the key main man on the left back, they should be okay. But right now, they've got that covered anyway. So I think Liverpool will be okay, creativity-wise and attacking-wise. They're doing okay. Defensively, not great. Chelsea are okay at the moment. They're kind of like getting the draws. Potter's doing his job. Whereas I feel like United, they're in a bit of a predicament at the moment. It's not all good in the hood at United right now. Yeah, so that's my thinking.
What about the relegation?
Relegation is definitely going to be
a lot tougher to call, but still.
Well, I'm definitely calling Nottingham going down.
Okay.
Now, who's going to go down with them? I'm going to say Leeds.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Bournemouth.
Fair enough. That's just decent. I can't. I mean, I don't think we differ too much really on both ends of the table. With me, again, top 4, I say Arsenal and City are up there. I think Liverpool will be up there as well because, like I just said, they're still a dangerous team. They still create a lot of chances. And yes, they might let in goals, but they've got so many people on the pitch who can score them. And now I'm not entirely convinced by Chelsea. And but because it's Potter, and the thing is with Potter is that when he needs to experiment too much, and he experiments too much anyway. And he's well known for changing teams and tactics halfway through games. He does it all the time. So he's got all these players, and they don't know what system they're playing. He can't work it out, and sometimes it works for him, sometimes he doesn't. But basically, I think that Chelsea are going to end up drawing too many games, and they'll end up drawing too many games that they should be winning. And obviously, I was about to say, obviously he should get time, but it's Chelsea. I don't know if it looks like they still don't want to give people time, even though the owners are different. So I think that Chelsea will struggle to make it into the top 4. And I know I've said this before, but I'm very impressed by Newcastle, and I don't see any reason why they can't gatecrash it. But I think the most likely for the last spot will be Spurs, but don't be surprised if Newcastle sneak it. And I mean, for Spurs, they're going well and the manager's good, but he still says it's a work in progress. He's talked about making more signings in January. I don't know who that's going to be. Is he going to sign Hazard, Kante? We'll see, because that's who he needed the last time he won the Premier League.
All right, can I just call something out? Because I get why you've got reservations about Potter, but let me just say, Potter is very efficient, right? Potter took over in mid-September, right? If I'm not mistaken, after Tuchel lost against Dinamo Zagreb, 1-0. Terrible. Since Potter took over, he's played 9 games. How many has he lost?
He hasn't lost any.
He hasn't lost any. How many has he won?
I don't know. 7?
He's won 7. Well done! He's won 7 of 9 games, only drawing 2 games. The 2 games you drew was against United, where they got a last-minute goal, and that should have been really a win. And the other one was against Brentford, where they absolutely dominated the game.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing.
Potter is so underrated. You need to give the man credit.
I am, but I'm just going by the way he operates. That's all I'm saying. And it's harder now than it was before. I mean, people who had to manage Chelsea now, they didn't have to worry about Newcastle, they didn't have to worry about Spurs. But when you drop points, when you're in the top 4 race and you drop points, the others will pick them up. Anyway, my relegation. Anyway, I'm biased against Potter. People been listening to me long enough anyway. But the relegation 3, yeah, again, it doesn't massively differ from you. I think I think Forest are going because they just let people shoot on their goal too much.
Yeah.
And I can see Leeds going as well. I mean, they might not if they sack Marsh and get somebody in, but I think I think a lot of people are going to have to accept that Leeds are essentially a championship team, and unless you get in a really good manager, they're not going to be staying in the Premier League.
Yeah, Leeds are either drawing or losing games right now in its poor form. They've lost against Fulham, they've lost against Leicester, obviously against Arsenal, they lost against Palace, lost against Brentford, lost against Brighton.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't beat these teams and you still haven't played the top 4, top 6, you've got no chance.
No.
You've still got to play City, still got to play Liverpool, you've still got to play, Spurs. You've got no chance.
It's a high energy team and they've got attacking players and they like to attack on goal. But when I look at their defence and their mid and their goalkeeper, I just see championship players. And and decent teams will just sit back, soak up the pressure, and hit you on the break or with a decently well taken set piece, and you're done. And Bielsa knew this. That's why he played the way he played. But the board got ambitious, and here we are. Anyway, now I think that the last relegation spot will either come down to Bournemouth, or I worry about Fulham because they also don't defend all that well. And if Pereira and Mitrovic, if one or both of them get injured, they're going to struggle up front as well. So it could be down to Fulham and Bournemouth as the final relegation team.
I think Fulham look good,
They do look good, but their defence isn't all that good, though.
The defence isn't good, I agree. But I think, look, Fulham have got a better chance than some of these other teams.
True. You know what? I'm going to concede to you there because Marco Silva is the manager and he's decent. So but same as you, Bournemouth, Leeds, and Forest going down.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
All right then. So player picks. Do you want to go first?
No, I'll let you have the pleasure of going first.
Okay, I'm going to have to narrow it down then in that case. Right. So number 1 is fairly obvious, Almiron. Now, I know I didn't really rate him on the last episode, but the fact is he's cheap. So if you get him in, you save funds and upgrade elsewhere. Probably upgrade up top if you want to get Kane or some more expensive strikers like Nunez. So that's the reason. I mean, yeah, sure, he's playing well right now, but I don't know. He doesn't have a history of these high numbers, but Newcastle are playing well, and every now and again he gets to the good positions to score. So that's literally all he's got going for him. The second pick.
Doing well.
Sorry?
Doing well.
Yeah. The second pick, and purely because he does have a history of putting them away, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And I appreciate that he's still coming back from a long injury, but he's played minutes in the last 4 games for Everton. And then I think in the last 2 he played 72 minutes and 77 minutes. So he is coming back to playing 90 minutes. And he's certainly starting, I think. And Everton's fixtures look decent. And we know he can do it. Now, it's going to take a while because apparently in his last 2 games, he only had 1 shot in each game. But again, we'll come on to this. I'll mention this briefly in the future. People are wondering about who they're going to have up top. One reason why people are being put off Jesus is because apparently he's on 4 yellow cards. So if he gets another one in the next 3 games, that you're only going to have him for like 2 games. And obviously there's talk about Haaland. I might as well get onto that right now. What would you make of the Haaland situation?
Before I comment on the Haaland situation, I can't believe you picked DCL.
You can't? Why?
I can't believe because I mean, I'll mention it later, but there's a player who's in the Everton squad who offers much better value for money and it's in great form. And you went for DCL, the hit and miss.
Okay.
Quiet. So, all right, cool.
Okay,
I'm not saying
you're talking about. Okay, I know. You think I know who we're talking about, but
you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
But that's fine.
Briefly,
I'll mention him later.
Haaland, he's 75% rated to play on this website, but in other places I've seen him at only 50%, and we just don't know what's going to happen there. Now,
I think for me, my stance is if you've got a better captain option, so someone from Tottenham like Kane, or someone from Liverpool like Salah, or even if you want to be a bit of a cowboy, you know, be a bit brave, go with Nunez, Darwin,
or maybe an Arsenal,
or maybe even Arsenal, Saka. Ooh, you know, that's you know, that's a new one. I would probably go with them, especially if you're chasing. If you're chasing, definitely go with that. Don't go with Haaland. That's my stance. What about you?
I don't know. I'm undecided. I was going to say, I think Leicester versus City's the early kickoff. So I'm going to literally wait until the last minute to see if there's any news, because I have gone without captaining Haaland before, and it basically, it killed me. I died. I died. I died on my feet. It was ugly. It was a mess, and I don't want to go through that again. Obviously, one of three things can happen. He plays most of the game and he does his usual thing, or he doesn't start and he comes on for a one-pointer, or he doesn't play at all. So it's very tricky to know what to do. But you know, if anybody's thinking about it, I think Derek's advice is as good as any. But if you can afford to wait, like I'm doing, by all means do that and see what's going to happen, and then make your captain decision, leaving it as late as possible. All right, then. The final pick that I've got, Rashford is worth a look, I think, because he's playing right now. Man United also have decent fixtures in the next 3, and he's not all that expensive, and his numbers are decent. You know, and some people talk about Anthony, but Rashford is better value for money in my opinion. So that's my 3.
I like it.
Yeah.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
My first one is going to be Foden. Just because I think with the Haaland risk, just kind of following on from the theme of Haaland, with the Haaland risk, it's good to have Foden as a choice this week against a Leicester team that have conceded a lot of goals this season. I know they score a lot, but they've conceded a hell of a lot of goals as well. Foden will probably take pleasure in running against them, and Leicester tend to use their fullbacks push up, so Foden might have a chance to catch them on the counter, which could be quite good. My second pick, it's a tough week for picks this week, I'm not gonna lie. I've got quite a few, but my second pick is most likely going to be a Liverpool player. I think after the loss, they are going to have to come back hard. Obviously, Salah is an obvious choice, but I think with looking at his previous game, he had a lot of chances he should have put away.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Darwin.
Okay.
I think he's going to do well this game. I think he's got a lot to prove, and I think Liverpool have got a lot to prove as well. So it's going to be an explosive game. My final pick, and I could have gone with someone from Arsenal because they're playing Forest. So for me, that is a safe pick. But I'm actually going to go with this person who I spoke about earlier. So my final pick is Iwobi.
No!
Iwobi is on fire, right? Like, this guy is becoming the assist king right now. He's playing so well. His team are in good form. He's cheap at 5.5 mil. His next 4 fixtures, Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth, Wolves, before he's got 2 hard fixtures, which is City and a fairly hard one against Brighton. But then it gets fairly easy again after that. Iwobi is a great pick. Great value for money.
No.
Good form.
No, I'm not having this. Right, first of all, how can you slam me for going for Calvert-Lewin, who obviously is going to be benefiting from Iwobi's assist? That's number one. Number two, we are spoilt for choice in midfield, and you're seriously telling me that instead of Salah, Foden, Martinelli, Saka, De Bruyne, Zaha, Bowen, Pereira, Son, Almiron, and even flipping Bailey, we should be going for Iwobi. Nah.
Of all the people you mentioned, only one of them is cheaper. Only one of them worth having is cheaper, and that's Pereira. Everyone else is more expensive. That's why I said he offers the most value for money. If you want to have a De Bruyne and Salah combination, you can downgrade one of the expensive players, maybe your Bowen, maybe your Foden, to your Iwobi, and then you can have that two premium, which you can't do currently.
Okay. I'm prepared to. I may look very foolish for objecting to this pick, but okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's my picks there.
Oh, okay. Wonderful stuff.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
All right. Yeah. Brilliant. I think we're coming to the end of the episode. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, I should say.
Newly appointed.
That's right. I was going to talk about Dina, but we'll say that for another episode. Yeah. Hit like and hit subscribe on YouTube. It takes hardly any energy and less than a second, and it really helps us out. We appreciate it. Okay. Right. Yeah, that's it. So that's a goodbye from me.
Peace out, guys.